we are finally starting to get some clarity on the NL side of the playoff picture. Two big game twos last night. Dodgers 4-3 over the Phillies, and the Brewers 7-3 over the Cubs. Both the Brewers and the Dodgers now have commanding 2-0 leads, setting up what could be a David versus Goliath NLCS for the ages between the small market Brewers and the big money Dodgers. Let's start with those Dodgers who last night went into Philadelphia in a game 2 and shut the loud house up. Remember, the Dodgers took game 1 5-3 behind a Teo Hernandez homer, and the story in game 2 for 6 innings was starting pitching. Blake Snell and Jesus Luzardo were absolutely dominant for the first 6 innings of that game. Neither dude let up a hit. Actually, that's not true. Luzardo lets up a hit in the first inning, retires the next 17 batters. Blake Snell allows a hit in the 5th inning, walks 4, no runs are scored. They're trading blows. And as they're tossing zeros back and forth, the tension in the stadium in Philly is building because all these fans can see the game, the series, and even this era of Phillies baseball starting to evaporate before their eyes, and they just want this moment of jubilation that never comes. They threaten in the bottom of the 6th against Snell, who walks a couple guys in that frame. Snell gets out of it, and then in the top half, the Dodgers pounce on Luzardo, starting that inning off with 2 hits. Phillies go to the bullpen, and the key play here is a Kike Hernandez infield dribbler. Teoscar Hernandez slides in safe at a bang-bang play at home. Dodgers add on 3 more runs, go up 4-0, and at that point, it's just an absolute boo fest. Philly fans are understandably booing everything with a pulse and not a pulse in the building. They boo Bryce Harper, they boo Kyle Schwarber, they booed the former president of the United States who was there. They booed Yohan Duran's walkout celebration entrance theme thing, which was incredibly uncomfortable. He comes in with them down 4-1, top 9, and they're like shooting flames, and they're, the strobe lights are going, and the reggaeton is blaring, and the whole place is booing. No one's into it. And then, in the bottom of the 9th, Dave Roberts, Dodgers skipper, gives the Phillies an opening, calling upon Blake Trinan to get the save. Now, big theme of this postseason, even though the Dodgers are 4-0, is that their bullpen looks shakier than a Victorian-era table. They go to Trinan. He allows 2 hits to start the inning. Big Nick Castellanos double as the third batter of the game trims the lead to 1. Runner on second, nobody out. Place is absolutely popping. The moment they were waiting for. He brings in Alex Vesia, and this is really the play of the night. Bryson Stott scores to bunt. Nick Castellanos is on second base. Dodgers execute a wheel play to perfection. They get the lead runner, Castellanos, at third base. Stott moves to first. I think the decision to bunt here was ill-advised. Stott is a left-handed hitter. The odds of him just rolling a ground ball to second base to move the runner over are decently high anyway. And when you decide to bunt, it's not just, do you think the bunter will get it down? It's, do you trust the runner on second, both their foot speed and their base running ability? Do you trust them to, make the read necessary to go from second to third? And that's not what happens here. What you're taught as a runner is effectively to shadow the shortstop behind you and move as they move, right? So you can see the second baseman on the wheel play going to first base. The first baseman and the third baseman are crashing in to field the bunt, and the shortstop is moving to third. So if the bunt gets popped up or the batter misses the bunt, you have all the time in the world to get back to second base because there's no one there to double you off behind you. You can get off as far as the fielder is. Castellanos loses about 10 feet to Betts here, and that's the difference in the play. He's out at third base, and the Phillies keep threatening. There's a Harrison Bader hits a single. They end up with runners on first and third with 2 outs. Trey Turner hits a squibber to second base. Tommy Edman almost throws it away. Freddie Freeman, big scoop. And then the place was stunned. And this series heads back to LA with the Dodgers up 2-0. It felt like the end of an era for the Phillies in a way. Now, maybe it's not. Maybe they bring back Schwarber and they bring back Real Muto and maybe they rattle off 3 straight wins and keep this thing going. But the energy of Citizens Bank Park doesn't feel impenetrable anymore. this Phillies era of playoff baseball, which starts in 2022, their first 12 home playoff games, they're 10-2 through game 2 of the 2023 NLCS against Arizona. Since then, they are just 1-5 at home in the playoffs. That includes those 2 losses to Arizona in 23, a loss to the Mets in 24 in the DS, and then these 2 losses to the Dodgers. And there's really not a whole lot else to say. They will send Aaron Nola to the mound to start game 3 in LA. I would not expect him to work particularly deep into that ball game. Ranger Suarez, a lefty, will come in and probably take the bulk of that one. And they'll do that just to try and neutralize Max Muncy and the other lefty hitters that the Dodgers can throw out there. And for the Dodgers, it's just a reminder of what this team has been capable of all season, right? This was supposed to be a 155 win juggernaut or whatever. They weren't that. They threw it into cruise control for much of the summer. But beneath the surface, this was always lurking. A team with experience, a team with oodles of talent, a team unfazed by the big moments. And when push came to shove, they delivered again last night. Look, there are reasons to be skeptical. The bullpen, Ohtani looks horrible at the plate. Mookie hasn't really done a whole lot. And yet, here they are, 4 in a row. I believe they've won 9 games in a row now, dating back to the regular season. And there's, they feel like the World Series favorite all of a sudden, which maybe they should have been all along. The team that's probably going to try their best to stop them is the Milwaukee Brewers, who took game 2 against the Chicago Cubs by a score of 7-3. This series heads to Chicago now for the middle 2 games, where the Brewers could basically walk down there to Wrigley Field. Story of this game: 3-run pop in the top of the first from Seiya Suzuki gives the Cubs an early lead, but the Brewers, just like they did in game 1 when they put up 6 in the bottom of the first, they punch right back. 3-run tank in the bottom of that inning from Andrew Vaughn, the man rescued from the South Side after a rocky tenure with the White Sox. The Brewers get 2 guys on with 2 outs, and Vaughn takes a breaking ball just in under his hands and loops it up really high into the air and gone for a 3-run blast to tie it off Shota Imanaga, who has been something of a home run machine this season. And then the real hammer blow comes in the 3rd and the 4th innings. So you have a Wilson Contreras home run, a solo shot that he milks the absolute bejesus out of with a very delightful pick up the phone, oh wait, I'm hanging up on you motion. That also came with 2 outs. Kind of the theme of the night. The big swing from Jackson Chourio an inning later in the 4th inning, that came with 2 outs as well. 3-run blast to dead center field. Chourio, who looked like he had a hamstring issue in game 1 that creeped up on him, something he dealt with during the regular season. He was good to go for game 2, and this is the swing of the season so far for the Milwaukee Brewers. That gives them a 7-3 lead on that 3-run shot. Jacob Misiorowski comes in as the bulk guy. Otherwise, the Brewers kind of bullpen game this. They went Aaron Ashby for 4 outs, Nick Mears for an out, but then Misiorowski threw 3 innings in the middle, just hucking 103 with his weird, lanky, gangly frame. And the Cubs had no answer. Misiorowski came in, I believe, to start the 3rd inning. He allows 1 hit over 3, 2 walks, 4 Ks. And that's all she wrote for the Cubs, who will try and salvage their season on Wednesday night. At the friendly confines, they will send Jamison Taillon to the hill against Quinn Priester for the Brewers. Quinn Priester, entertainingly enough, a Chicago area kid. Many of his family members are big Cubs fans. They will not be rooting for the Cubbies, presumably, on Wednesday evening. And the Brewers are, in the proverbial driver's seat. They are kicking tush. They went yard 3 times last night for just the 16th time all season. Compare that to the homer cranking New York Yankees, who hit 3 home runs, at least 3 home runs in a game 42 times this year. The Brewers improved to 16-0 when they hit 3 home runs or more. Very impressive stuff from the Brewers. Can they rely on the long ball moving forward? Maybe, maybe not. But it's good to know that they're able to do it. And yeah, like, let's see how game 3s go. But I think this is going to be Brewers-Dodgers. In the NLCS, it certainly looks like it, certainly smells like it. You will be able to ride the power of the big market, small market narrative all the way through that series. It should be a delight. Maybe the Phillies and the Cubs have tricks up their sleeve, but it does not feel that way now. Make sure you tune into those games on Wednesday night and catch up with the newest episode of Baseball Barbacast with myself and Jordan Schusterman, which will be available Thursday a.m. after those games are done.